Good evening. A man described as the mastermind behind the illegal importation of 21 guns into the island in March of this year has been arrested in Ocheria, St. Anne yesterday. The man, whose identity is being withheld pending formal charges being laid, was arrested by personnel from the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crimes Investigations Branch at a party in the parish in an operation that concluded at about 4 a.m. Detectives say the man has been on their radar for some time, and his arrest follows months of investigations that featured several lines of inquiry. 18 handguns, 3 rifles, and a large cache of ammunition were seized by the police at a warehouse in Kingston on Friday, March 4. The find was made when personnel from Jamaica Customs noticed anomalies with a package and called in the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, CTOC. And Mello TV will bring you more on this story as details become available. The St. Andrew South Police have named Mario Palmer of Psalms Avenue, Kingston 11 as a person of interest. Detectives believe Palmer can assist them with their investigations into recent crimes in the area, including an incident of murder. He's being urged to turn himself in to the Hunts Bay Police. Anyone with information that can assist the police to locate Mario Palmer is being asked to contact the Hunts Bay Police at 876-923-7111, the police 119 number, or the nearest police station. Opposition leader Mark Golding led a tour with People's National Party officials of Kent Village and other St. Catherine communities that have been affected by the pollution that resulted in a massive fish kill. Here's Colleen May with the details.
Opposition leader Mark Golding says that this spill of caustic effluent, which led to the recent pollution of the Rio Cobra in St. Catherine, should not be allowed to reoccur as in the past. Mr. Golding was speaking on the weekend after leading a tour with People's National Party PNP officials of Kent Village and other St. Catherine communities that have been affected by the pollution that resulted in a massive fish kill. According to Mr. Golding, the damage is severe as not only fisherfolk have been affected, but also farmers, and approximately 500,000 households in 3 parishes have been impacted due to disruptions in water supply.
The entity that has produced the toxic waste, which has been released into the environment here and has damaged all of the living creatures, the fish and creatures in this river on which people survive for miles going down, has prevented the use of the water for irrigation. So farmers who depend on irrigation and fish farmers are impacted and are suffering losses. Folk along here, the fisher folk and others who use it for recreation, suffering losses. The water supply, the National Water Commission has not been able to provide water from this source. 500,000 households in 3 parishes negatively impacted. This cannot go on any longer. This is not the first time it's happened. I think, to my knowledge, I think it's the 5th time. They are before the court in criminal matters for 2 of those. But the penalty is minuscule. We have been calling on the government to amend the NRCA Act to put meaningful penalties and remediation compensation clauses into it. They have not done anything about it. And this has now inflicted a calamity on communities like this one here in Kent Village. They say they're going to draw down the performance bond. It sounds like enough money, but you believe me when I tell you, when you work out the losses that people will have sustained by not having any fish in this river for probably a year till it's restocked and having been flushed, plus all of the other losses of which I spoke, that money is going to be insufficient.
The PNP president outlined what his party will be doing to assist the residents.
We will do what we can. I have received an offer from a fish farmer, a very generous offer, to provide a large quantity of fishlings to restock the river, subject to NEPA. And I think the Fisheries Division saying they're okay with it. And I've asked Senator Fraser Binns to follow up with those 2 agencies so that we can dialogue and make sure that we can go ahead. He's offered not only to provide the seedlings, but to transport them here and to assist with them being put in the river to help restock. But they can't restock till the river is flushed. I think it's going to need some heavy rain to cleanse it and so on. But after that, it's going to be very important that it be restocked so that the livelihood of these people is not permanently impaired. They have indicated that they expect it to be a year before their river is restocked adequately, assuming that the fishlings can be put into the river soon. I sympathize, because if NEPA had been doing its job effectively, this would not have happened now, because this issue would have been remediated long ago. They have allowed it to continue, and they are a state agency. So for the idea of the compensation fund being used to indemnify the state and the public sector for the losses, I think that in the terms of prioritization, the farmers and the people, the fish farmers and the fishermen and others, the people should be compensated first. And that should be the priority in the use of those funds.
For her part, Member of Parliament for North Central St. Catherine, Natalie Nita Garvin, whose constituency, Kent Village Falls, said NEPA should have alerted the residents of the effluent spill in the Rio Cobre, and more needs to be done to evaluate the impact on the residents' health.
Concerns which are far-reaching, health implications. When the effluent is released, long before the spillage gets down here, other persons are notified, but the residents of the communities are not notified. So when the effluent is up there, people are still downstream fishing at the same time. The same fish running away from the effluent, right? So we have no idea what the health implications are. Nobody knows what the long-term effects will be on pregnant women. With children, nobody has any idea. And years to come, when we hear of this, what will happen? What will be the redress for those persons? The truth is, the Bureau of Standards needs to do a separate testing of the water outside of what NWC will do and outside of what the Ministry of Health will do. I would love for there to be some independent testing of the water and of the citizens who have shown these health concerns over the years, and to perhaps develop a correlation, if there is any, between what is happening in this water and their health over time. Because years to come, when NACO perhaps would have left us after mining has stopped,
Yes.
how do we get any redress for those people who are going to have developed serious illnesses in a few years from now?
Reporting from Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
The Westmoreland Police have commenced an investigation into the death of a male National Solid Waste employee who was shot and killed by gunmen in the vicinity of Doyley's funeral home in Savannah Lamar this morning. He has been identified as Adrian Samuels of Charlene District, also in Savannah Lamar. Reports are that about 5:30 a.m., Samuels, who is said to be an employee at the Savannah Lamar Municipal Corporation as a groundsman, was riding his bicycle to work at the Savannah Lamar Transport Center when he was attacked. On reaching the entrance of the Doyley's funeral home, which is in close proximity to Mr. Samuels' home, he was pounced upon by men armed with guns who shot him several times. The police were summoned, and upon arrival, Mr. Samuels was discovered suffering from gunshot wounds and was taken to Savannah Lamar Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Lawmen assigned to the Clarendon Police Division arrested and charged 22-year-old Romel Brown, a farmer of Land Lease Sandy Bay in Clarendon, with shooting with intent and illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. This follows an incident in his community on Sunday, July 31. It's reported that at about 8 p.m., patrons were at a bar when Brown, armed with a handgun, opened fire at them. The victims escaped and made a report to the police. An investigation was launched, and on Thursday, August 4, the police conducted an operation where Brown was accosted at his home. He was subsequently charged after a question and answer session. His court date is being finalized. And a police investigation is underway to locate the people involved in a mob killing on Corlett's Road in Spanish Town yesterday. The deceased has been identified as 29-year-old Siobhan Wilson, who also lived on Corlett's Road. Reports are that about 3:20 p.m., residents attacked Wilson after he allegedly entered a premises and stole a phone. The police were called to the scene, and Wilson was seen on the ground with several wounds to his body. He was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The police are urging members of the public with information that can assist them in their investigation to come forward. The failed campaign by Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith for the post of Commonwealth Secretary General has cost taxpayers some $18.2 million. This was revealed by the Office of the Prime Minister in a statement on Sunday. According to the OPM, the amount covered air and ground transportation, COVID-19 tests, meals and accommodation, public relations and communication support activities for staging of events such as the launch and engagements with delegations, as well as information technology support, printing of documents, photography, food, and beverages. This is roughly an additional $25 million that was spent by the government on the Commonwealth Heads of Government Summit in Kigali, Rwanda in June that was attended by Prime Minister Andrew Holness and his wife Juliet and a Jamaican delegation, thus bringing the total spent to approximately $43 million. The OPM said the cost of the summit was absorbed by 3 participating ministries, with the OPM being responsible for $12.8 million of the amount. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade covered $7.7 million and the Ministry of Tourism $5.1 million. While the parliamentary opposition had tabled questions in the parliament for the Prime Minister to answer several weeks ago, OPM said it was fulfilling its public commitment to transparency and accountability in providing the information. It is said Senator Johnson Smith's campaign was efficiently conducted and utilized the existing channels and resources, including already established travel plans and engagements. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that 127 new COVID-19 cases were recorded yesterday, bringing the total infection rate to 147,316. The new cases comprise 75 females and 52 males with ages ranging from 9 days to 105 years. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew, 37, St. Catherine, 34, St. James, 12, St. Elizabeth, 11, Clarendon, 10, St. Anne, 7, Westmoreland, 5, Trelawney and Hanover, 4 each, and St. Mary, 3. No deaths were reported for the period. There were 85 recoveries in the last 24 hours, bringing the total to 94,528. And those are the stories making the news. I'm Nicole Hales. Thanks for watching.